Hey guys, Joseph the World here, and today we are covering a topic slightly different because But before all that, let's get into who's involved in this situation. So, Albie Amankona, sorry if I butchered that name, but Albie was a GB News reporter, host, whatever you want to call it that. And GB News, for all of you who don't know, is a British news station slash political show, mainly leaning towards more of the right, and they are called GB News. They're basically like the Fox News of the UK, where they are mainly funded by donations from their supporters and are very against quote unquote wokeness. Now, I'm not going to give my go in depth of my personal opinions about GB News, I'll be honest. All you need to know is I'm not a supporter of them. But this topic is interesting and I wanted to cover it. And the other person involved is Albie. And recently he called Suella Braverman a bigot, and not going to show that full debate, but he was then released, and it's quite hypocritical because other reporters or people on GB News have said similar things, yet they haven't been fired. And I'm going to show the whole response from Albie now.
I'm a former GB News host who was sacked for calling someone I believed to be racist a racist. I started at GB News because it was edgy, it was all about free speech, it was about doing things differently. But the more and more I started working there, I felt like I was confronted with just the most awful opinions, things that were undeniably racist, homophobic, just downright bigoted. And then when I called Suella Braverman racist and a thoroughly bigoted woman, I was dropped.
I believe she is actually racist and a thoroughly bigoted woman.
There are former colleagues of mine who are white, like Carol Malone, who have said similar things, like calling Diane Abbott a bigot.
She is a bigot. She is what a bigot looks like.
And they still remain at the channel with no sort of reprimand whatsoever. I'm taking the fight to GB News through an employment tribunal. They need to be held to account for the way that they treat their employees. They need to be held to account for the way that they treat their black on-air members of staff differently to their white on-air members of staff. And they need to be held to account for the way that they report the news.
But let's get into what was specifically said and where this took place. And now there is an ongoing legal action taken from Albie towards GB News. But going on, a former GB News presenter is taking legal action against a broadcaster after he was taken off air last year. Albie Amankona, who co-hosted GB News' debate programme, The Saturday 5, told The Guardian he intended to sue GB News for unfair dismissal and a number of other claims. It comes after Amankona, co-founder of the Conservatives Against Racism for Equality, was taken off air after saying on air that he believed the former Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, who's a Tory, to be a racist in July 2024. GB News issued a swift apology to Braverman, stating that the comments, quote-unquote, crossed the line between robust debate and causing unnecessary offence, noting that Braverman was undeniably upset. Amankona said his claims against GB News include for race discrimination, belief discrimination, victimisation, whistleblowing, detriment, unequal pay and unfair dismissal. The broadcaster denies these claims. After initial self-funding the legal action, Amankona is now launching a public crowdfunding campaign with the Good Law Project on Monday. He added that he had made a verbal complaint with a senior manager about what he believed to be racist behaviour by two colleagues in June 2024. He believes no immediate investigative action took place. GB News denies any racist behaviour occurred. And in quote, the only way I might be able to change the situation if I stand up for myself and say it is wrong and use the channels available to me to make my case, he said. A source of GB News said Amankona was given notice, along with a number of other contributors, 2 days before his on-air remarks about Braverman. In a statement, GB News said, Mr. Amankona's claim is misconceived, without merit and being robustly defended. As the claim is ongoing, we do not propose to comment further. The source said GB News maintained that its apology to Braverman was appropriate. Now, Suella Braverman was a controversial figure, she still is, and the main thing that I remember her for was trying to make homelessness illegal. Yep, if you saw a homeless person on the street, you could have phoned the police, and if they were sleeping, let's say, in front of your local Tesco's just outside near the door, he could get arrested. Honestly, I hope most of you agree that is disgraceful. And I don't think I've ever seen someone openly hate the poor in all my life. Now, in terms of the whole him calling her racist, I'm not going to get too far into that because that's a whole other argument, and I don't want a massive debate in the comment section. Just let you know, don't like Suella Braverman. But these comments were made by him, and he was obviously sacked. And I'll be honest, if anything, I find this situation hilarious, to be honest, because as soon as someone who's not a Labour or more left-leaning person is called a bigot, they fired him. And it is a bit hypocritical, I will agree with Albie on that, considering the clip he showed of him calling, or of that woman, that white woman calling Diana Albert, is that her name? I'm sorry if I said butchered that as well, a Labour MP, a bigot as well. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really care who wins the lawsuit. If it even goes that far, who knows, it might just get dismissed. Obviously, there's now a crowdfunding, or Albie started a crowdfunding thing. So please do not go support it, because he's not magically a good person because of this. And I've seen some of his other clips where he stated stuff, and yeah, not the best. Overall, whoever wins, don't matter. And whoever loses, it don't matter. It's just funny seeing all these people scrambling to sort the shit out. And that's all the information we have left to share today. If there is any major updates, again, I will make a part 2, but mostly this probably won't have any other updates over the last few days, unless GB News responds, which I haven't seen any statements from any of the broadcasters yet, or at least on Twitter, because I don't watch their shite. But anyway, that's been Just the World. Make sure to like and subscribe, share the video if you can. I'd always appreciate it. See you guys in a bit.